In this podcast episode, Ben Shapiro delves into the groundbreaking press conference held by former President Donald Trump alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The focus of the discussion is Trump's ambitious plan for the Gaza Strip, which has sparked intense reactions across the political spectrum. Shapiro argues that the conventional wisdom surrounding the Israeli-Palestinian conflict has led to decades of failure and violence, and he believes Trump's approach offers a fresh perspective that could lead to peace and prosperity in the region. Shapiro begins by critiquing the long-standing belief that resolving the Palestinian issue is a prerequisite for achieving peace in the Middle East. He points out that this notion has resulted in a cycle of violence and despair, particularly for the Palestinian population, which has been radicalized and continues to support terrorist organizations like Hamas. Shapiro emphasizes that the Oslo Accords, which were intended to foster peace, have instead led to increased conflict and instability. He highlights Trump's unique approach, which he believes is rooted in common sense and a realistic understanding of the situation. Shapiro recalls the success of the Abraham Accords during Trump's first term, which established peace agreements between Israel and several Arab nations. He argues that Trump's willingness to think outside the box has consistently yielded positive results, contrasting sharply with the failures of previous administrations. The crux of the podcast centers on Trump's proposal for the Gaza Strip, which he envisions transforming into a thriving economic zone. Shapiro outlines Trump's belief that the United States should take control of Gaza, effectively managing its reconstruction and development. Trump argues that the area has been a symbol of death and destruction for too long, and that it is time to create a safe and prosperous environment for the Palestinian people. During the press conference, Trump suggested that neighboring wealthy countries could help fund this initiative, allowing for the construction of homes and infrastructure that would provide a better quality of life for the 1.8 million Palestinians currently living in Gaza. Shapiro notes that Trump's plan includes the possibility of relocating those who wish to leave the area, emphasizing that there is no humanitarian justification for keeping people trapped in a war-torn region. Shapiro challenges the conventional wisdom that has dominated discussions about Gaza and the Palestinian issue. He argues that the idea of a two-state solution is unrealistic given the current political climate and the lack of support for such a framework among the Palestinian population. He points out that many Palestinians do not desire a peaceful coexistence with Israel, and instead, the focus should be on creating stability and economic opportunities in the region. Trump's proposal, according to Shapiro, represents a significant departure from the failed strategies of the past. He believes that by acknowledging the realities on the ground and prioritizing economic development over political negotiations, there is a chance to break the cycle of violence and despair that has plagued the region for decades. As Shapiro discusses the reactions to Trump's plan, he notes that many critics are quick to dismiss it without offering viable alternatives. He challenges those who oppose Trump's vision to present their own solutions, arguing that the status quo has proven to be ineffective and detrimental to both Israelis and Palestinians. Shapiro emphasizes that Trump's approach is not about maintaining the current state of affairs, but rather about creating a new path forward that prioritizes the well-being of the people in Gaza. The podcast also touches on Trump's broader foreign policy initiatives, including his decision to withdraw from the UN Human Rights Council and the UN Relief and Works Agency, which he claims have been complicit in perpetuating the cycle of violence. Shapiro supports Trump's stance, arguing that these organizations have historically funneled resources to terrorist groups rather than aiding those in need. Shapiro concludes the podcast by discussing the cultural and political implications of Trump's proposals. He argues that the former president's willingness to challenge the status quo resonates with many Americans who are frustrated with traditional political narratives. Shapiro believes that Trump's approach could pave the way for a new era of foreign policy that prioritizes pragmatism over ideology. In a lighter segment, Shapiro also addresses the ongoing debate surrounding transgender participation in sports, highlighting Trump's upcoming executive order aimed at keeping biological males out of women's sports. He argues that this move aligns with a broader cultural shift toward recognizing the importance of biological sex in competitive sports.